You're watching Extra Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James.
And this is a Taycan rear-wheel drive.
It's currently touring the world.
Yeah.
And we wanted to catch it on its tour because...
I wanted to drive it.
Yeah, all we have is all-wheel drive Taycans.
I've been living with this for a week, and honestly, the Taycan Turbo S that we drove was like incredible. It hurt to accelerate in it, but like I didn't love it.
No.
I kind of wanted it to be worse, which is very often my thing with Porsche.
We said we didn't need that level of speed, we didn't need that level of expense.
No, and so this is worse, but because it is less powerful, right?
Yes, it is less money.
It is less.
It's actually about 115 US, about 138 Canadian.
See, that's not
as spec.
That's very expensive still.
It is.
It's very expensive for a car in frozen berry with wheels.
Frozen berry is the name of the color.
That's the name of the color.
Yeah, it does sound like a yogurt.
Yeah, this. How do you say that word?
Yogurt.
Yogurt. Okay.
How do you say?
Yogurt.
Yo to you too, you idiot. Yeah. You can tell it's a Euro spec though, because it's got the perfectly sized license plate holder.
Yes. And I've been trying to get to the wheels, and you're not letting me look at these things.
I don't want you to pick on the wheels because they are a personal choice by someone who's not you.
But like, look at them.
So
they
we
look like
do
hubcaps from Canadian Tire.
We do get these wheels here on the new Taycan Cross Turismo as a base.
They're
it's a base
probably
wheel.
very aerodynamic
I'm
or
sure
something.
They are. Yeah, that's like saying someone's got a nice personality when trying to not say that they're ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably aerodynamic.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah. But the most amazing thing about these wheels is that not only did they design them, period, but they actually designed two different versions. That one is a different offset than this one. So some guy was like, really, I gotta do the base wheels? Okay. Can you make two different ones for the front and the back? He's like, really? Okay.
Listen,
that was his whole day.
I do think though, that, and we said this when we did the Turbo S, I think the Taycan is a successful design shape.
This design is beautiful.
Yes,
I
and
love
it looks great on the road.
Yep.
I mean, we've obviously got the e-tron coming very shortly.
Yeah, I think that from the outside this looks better than the e-tron, but I haven't seen the e-tron in person yet.
Exactly, and I'd like to see them next to each other.
Yes. There's actually quite a lot to talk about while driving this. I have a few issues.
Okay.
So would you like to drive?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 375 horsepower.
That didn't feel insane.
No, it didn't. However, here, check this out. All right, we're gonna go to Sport Plus. Okay. The little 2-speed transmission downshifts, right? Get way more.
That is,
woo!
You know what's funny though? It doesn't come close to the Turbo S.
No, the Turbo S is pain.
Which has been my only,
violence,
that's been my only
anger.
Taycan experience up until now.
But this isn't slow, like it's not.
No.
This is actually all the power you need in an EV.
Well, they claim 5.1 seconds to 60.
Yes, which, I believe. It's not like crazy quick.
Getting great traction though.
Yeah, we got some big Michelin tires on it,
Yeah,
right?
PS4s.
Speaking of big tires, with those really hideous wheels, there's also really tall sidewall.
Yes.
Which means that the ride in this is significantly better than the
ride
Turbo
is
S.
good. It is good.
It is very, very
No, I don't
good.
remember the Turbo S being bad.
It's not bad, but it was like,
better.
it was serious.
Yes.
This is a little bit more, but at the same time, the not so aggressive suspension does mean that this shows its mass a little bit more. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, James.
Yes.
I don't do this very often. I went and I watched and read reviews of people driving this exact. This is actually, I think this particular car. What?
You went and watched. I don't do this very often. Like it's some guilty pleasure. I've seen videos about this car.
I mean, like before I review the car.
Naked
Usually, I like to have my own impressions. The whole thing is that I was just curious because I didn't think we were going to ever get the rear-wheel drive one here to test, right? But here we have it. I think this might actually be the car that was tested through Europe.
Probably.
Right?
Probably.
But all of those guys, they said two things, guys and gals. They said two things. They said, one, the Turbo S was too much and they didn't like it. And they said that this one fixes everything they didn't like about the Turbo S. It was more playful, more exciting, more of a driver's car. Okay?
Okay.
I don't agree.
Interesting. Interesting.
I don't agree at all, actually.
Why?
Because what
it's cool sound, that.
Yeah, no, it is. The spaceship sound. People rag on it, but I think it's really neat. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. This car is really, really good at tricking you into thinking you're having fun.
In what sense?
First of all, the steering is razor sharp.
Yes.
Did you notice that? Like, it's just like so
This feels
accurate.
like an electric Panamera.
Yes, exactly. And it is rear-wheel drive, this one, and you can lose the tail. Okay? So I feel like after driving the Turbo S, everyone wanted something a little bit more like playful instead of so serious. And this is that. But it's still not fun. Okay, as you're going to find out when we get on the back road in a second if this light ever turns green. Come on. Come on.
All right, while we're stuck here at
Yeah.
the longest red light in history,
Yeah.
I will say I wouldn't kick this interior out of bed.
This purple's really neat.
I like the purple.
I
The
think
purple
it's
with the
fun.
grey.
Yeah. It matches very well.
You've got screens to play with.
This has the optional extra big, cool passenger screen, which tells me the speed.
What's your G's here?
G's are 0.5 G's on acceleration. Not bad. Not bad at all. And this is like a full touchscreen, right? It's really neat. Speaking of touchscreen, ergonomically in here, I'm not a fan.
No?
There's no buttons. Everything's a touchscreen.
Yeah, everything takes and that extra second or two to figure out what you're doing with your
Yeah,
finger.
also the infotainment isn't super easy to figure out, and the steering is so fast and sharp that on the highway, you end up out of the lane.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're like trying. How do I change the bloody station? And I'm not good at deciphering what these steering wheel buttons are either. To be perfectly honest,
I kind of like the way you said that. I'm not, rather than it's not good. I'm not.
It's not for me. I can't figure it out.
Technology.
How does it work? But yeah, because I'm just looking for something a little bit simpler. To be honest, I don't need it to be too touch screeny. I want physical buttons. I think it's necessary.
Well, the range isn't so bad on this, right? We've got 372 kilometers
Look at you
left.
going off the road because you were looking at something else.
Look, I got a TV in front of me.
It happened.
I'm watching the TV.
Yeah.
The range is not so bad. It's like 480 at the top end.
Yeah, it is.
Like, how have you've been charging this, right?
I charged it once. I charged it from 40% to 100%. It took like an hour-ish.
Okay.
With a DC fast charger.
And how much did that charge?
It was like $40.
$40. Okay, so if you did that as fuel, it would still, that's less. That's less
Barely.
money.
That was from 40% for 400 kilometers of range. If you actually average it out, it's about the same as like filling up a performance car with.
No, it'd be more expensive than that.
Barely.
But also, if you
You're
have
gonna
a
have a
charger at
charger at
home,
home.
you'd have the convenience,
You're
right?
gonna have a charger at home. And this is when it cuts to me going, "This is my charger at home," and it's
Okay.
okay. So,
So a lot of things happened there.
you know what, James? Give me your impressions of what just went happen.
Okay, so I purposefully tried to lose a tail. I did.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of wheel squeal.
Lots of that.
Wheel
yeah.
squeal.
Wheel squeal.
But yeah, there wasn't much feedback in the steering.
By not much. What's the word you're looking for?
No, none.
None.
But
Yeah.
you know what was it? It's interesting because the car can do that, but
Yep.
it doesn't feel like that's what it wants to do. It might be the rear-wheel drive one, but I don't think that immediately translates to rear-end fun time.
No.
Wrong.
It's not
That's what
appropriate.
We're just
That's
going to
not
move on.
appropriate.
We're going to move on from that.
Yeah.
But I think the most fun I've seen people, the most fun people have had that I've seen in Taycans
Yeah.
has been on loose surface.
Like Rory Reid ripped it on a loose.
Absolutely ripped
He
it.
looked like he was having a great
That was
time.
in the Taycan Turbo S Cross Turismo.
Was it? I thought it was this one. I thought he did a rear-wheel drive.
Maybe he did this one as well. But I saw him going nuts in the Taycan.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and that I think is where this car becomes fun. But then so does any car.
Yes, it's rear-wheel drive. Period.
Yeah. I don't think the Taycan is at its heart a fun car.
No, and I think you just discovered that. So here's the issue for those of you that, just so we can fill you in, basically, you will lose the rear end of this car. Obviously, there's a ton of torque going to the rear wheels, but it is an absolutely inert experience because there's zero feedback coming to the steering wheel whatsoever.
It's not scary because you can modulate the throttle so easily with the electric motor.
Yeah, it's not scary, but it's also just really easy and kind of uneventful.
Yes.
Right? It's not really an exciting experience. And so that's the issue that I have with it. Like, I'd rather have an all-wheel drive one of these because when you settle down into normal mode, which you just switched it into
because
right
it's
now,
a bumpy road.
It's a bumpy road. This car is a brilliant commuter.
It's really, really wonderful.
It's really
This
nice
is
to
handling
drive.
it so well.
Yes, it soaks up the bumps. Like the power is on demand, obviously because it's an EV. It's quiet. Like it's comfortable. The seats are maybe a bit hard, I think, but as an everyday car, this is great. But it's also a lot of money. A lot of money.
Was it 140-ish Canadian?
Yeah.
If they sold it. So the most similar spec, it would be the base. We get this new base Taycan here, which is this Cross Turismo base Taycan, which is, it is all-wheel drive.
Yes.
But similar amounts of power.
Yeah, like I don't need to drift my Taycan.
Yes.
It's not fun to slide around. It's not fun to play with.
Because we'll compare that to the other wagons, right? You got the RS6, an E63S.
E63S is just like a wild-eyed tire killer.
It's wild, yeah.
Right? It's so much more fun. And that is not just because of the noise.
No.
It's not just because of the
everything. And if we, I don't know when this video is coming out, but it might proceed. We have a very cool E63S video coming up.
Yeah, if you've already seen it and we're just kind of overhyping it now, I hope you enjoyed it.
It's a nutty car.
It is.
But if you're going full practical, you just want the ultimate, supple, dynamic. And this is where we say every time we get in a Porsche.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Listen,
He's gonna go.
I grew up saying Porsche.
Yeah.
I come from a country that's absolutely in denial. It's wrong, I agree. Do you know what we call a German Shepherd in England?
What?
An Alsatian. We've come up with a new word.
Just to not say anything
Just
to
to
do
not
with
say
Germany.
the word German. So,
do you guys know that the war is over?
Listen,
Are you aware?
I'm trying to adapt. It just doesn't come naturally.
Okay.
It doesn't come naturally. And by the way, we won the war.
What?
Don't mention the war. Yes.
Yeah,
So
anyway.
every time we jump into Porsche, we kind of conclude by saying, sorry, I spit all over you there.
Yeah,
I figured
way over
I
here,
wanted to take
actually.
our relationship to the next level and exchange fluids. Every time we jump into Porsche, even if we're not, if it hasn't got one of those naturally aspirated engines, we're like, it's really dynamic.
This
and
is very good
so
at what it does.
So compliant, so supple. I will say it falls down to the Panamera in rear seat headroom, right? Because the Panamera has that huge arch.
Yeah, it's actually not that.
I'm 5'10", and I fit comfortably in it with just a little bit of space.
Right.
But your brother, who's 6'5", 6'6", doesn't even close, and he does fit in the Panamera. So.
Yeah, so like just as like a general conclusion of this car, it is like objectively fantastic at being a car. But I don't know if it's worth the money, because with the money it's implied that you're also getting a lot of driving fun. And it's a Porsche.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Right? And
but apparently Porsche are coming out with a 4 Series rivaling EV. So it'll be priced less than this.
now that would be interesting. That
Right.
would be interesting. The rear is like
the rear is going.
You were fishtailing.
Yeah.
Did you notice really?
I noticed with my eyes.
Yes, because you go out of line.
Not in the steering,
Not in
with
the steering,
wheels.
which therefore it's not fun.
It is a disconnected, insulated experience.
Yes.
That somehow gives you extreme confidence because it makes it up for in the chassis. And
Yeah, even though this thing does. I want to say this one more thing. This really shows you how amazing the Turbo S is, because the Turbo S does not feel like a heavy car when you rip it around the corners.
I don't think there's a more capable car on the road than the Turbo
No,
S.
I think we're talking about the Taycan Turbo S.
Taycan Turbo
yeah,
S.
Taycan, yeah. This car lets you know how much it weighs, which is exactly the same as a city bus. Right? So this doesn't have the tight suspension and the same tuning as the Turbo S, so it really does, you feel the mass. Also, I didn't even want to say this, I didn't want to bring this up. It understeers very badly. And everyone that I listened to or watched or read said it does oversteer and it's dynamically great, it is well balanced. It's not. All they were doing was doing on-throttle oversteer. That's different than like natural oversteer, trailing throttle oversteer, balanced throttle, like balance on when you're going through a corner. This, when you balance the throttle on an on-ramp, the fronts give up first quite badly and they squeal. So yeah, you can fix it with a throttle, but that's not what I'm looking for in a sporty car. I want the fronts to grip, right? That was a rant, I'm sorry. But at the same time, I just don't think that this thing is what people think it is.
No.
It's great, but I think what it's meant to do is what we're doing right now. Dealing with this horrendous North American traffic situation.
I can't see a thing! This always comes up.
You think you could get the sound system going?
It's got a long hood.
It's comfortable.
Am I safe?
I don't know. We're gonna. Okay. It's rear gone a little bit. No, it's really a nice car to drive, and I love it to commute in. I don't have any complaints about it as a car. I just don't think it's a sports car in any way.
But is it trying to be? If you look at it at the lens with it's an EV Panamera,
then no, yeah. Well, the thing is that when it comes to Porsche, I am expecting some degree of like driver thing.
Right, but so with this one, as their first EV then,
Yeah.
proper EV,
Yeah. It's a success.
I think it's a huge success, and
Of
I
course
think
it is,
once they start coming out with things like the one I mentioned, and also the Macan EV, which is going to sell by the buttload,
Yeah, that'll be.
that's where it's going to make the most sense.
That for me is definitely kind of where I would be more. You get more interior space, right? It's going to be a little bit more practical than this. This has a pretty big trunk in the front, but like, I don't know. The Taycan isn't for me.
This light's gone green, and this Camry is just being a Camry.
Come on.
You got this. Well, I believe.
we
I'm not going to
believe in
beep
you.
you. I'm not going to beep you.
Why is that guy not going?
He's just confused.
Are there ducks?
There we go. See,
Okay.
in Canada, we're nice. The New Yorkers watching this are going to be like, "Why haven't you beaten him up?
Yeah.
You should have killed his family by now." But we don't. We're nice.
We're nice.
Yeah.
She's elderly. We're
Yeah.
trying to be nice. He's like, yeah, I mean, well, we see how we can go around. We have a Taycan. We want the gap, we take the gap. There it goes.
Yes. That's what this car is the best. It's the
That's
best.
what it's for, right
It's
there.
the best gap fill. It wins the attendance award for gap filling.
So it's like a tube of caulking.
Or a temp. Aren't you glad you no longer work for